Hi, I'm Ben. I teach engineering students at the University of Virginia about social and ethical impacts of their work. Here's a question I pose in my classroom. What happens when technological advancement fails to align with our ethical values? A quarter of the way into the 21st century, it's one of the most urgent questions of our time. One of the most compelling answers, though, was given over 200 years ago by an 18-year-old young woman, Mary Shelley, author of Frankenstein. The protagonist of Shelley's novel is a gifted university student named Victor Frankenstein. Victor is an innovator. He's a change maker. He's highly creative and driven, and he aims to accomplish something of profound social impact. Sound familiar? Sounds like a lot of you here in the room, right? But there's a catch. Victor's story isn't told to inspire emulation. It's a cautionary tale about the perils of rogue engineering. And here's the message. When technology and ethics don't align, the result is monstrous. So where did it all begin? Well, when Victor was away at school, he makes an astonishing discovery. He figures out the source of life, what makes something alive. To test his discovery, he develops a kind of proof of concept. Working into the night, he collects parts from decaying corpses, assembles them together into a body, and animates them with an electrical spark. The result is a new kind of creature, made not through natural procreation, but in a lab using science and engineering. It's an extraordinary achievement. Victor is a pioneer in bioengineering, in AI technology. Reflecting on his work, Victor marvels at the, quote, astonishing power placed within my hands. But the story Victor actually tells is about the follies of that undertaking. He wants those who listen to, quote, deduce an apt moral from my tale. So if Victor's story is cautionary, what does it warn against? If Victor were here today, what would he have to say? Well, I think Victor would caution us against irresponsible innovation. As soon as Victor brings the creature to life, he abandons him. He refuses to take responsibility for his care. And that painful experience of neglect fills the creature with a deep sadness that in time erupts in murderous rage. In time, the creature tracks Victor down on the icy slopes of the Swiss Alps, and he confronts him. He reminds Victor of his ethical duty of care. You, my creator, detest and spurn me, thy creature, to whom thou art bound. Do your duty toward me. Then the creature warns Victor of the dire consequences of neglect. On you it rests, whether I lead a harmless life or become the scourge of your fellow creatures and the author of your own speedy ruin. That's what's at stake when innovators act irresponsibly. If we fail to care for the things we make, we risk turning those things into monsters. I think Victor would also warn us against the dangers of presumption. At one point, Victor admits, in a fit of enthusiastic madness, of senseless curiosity, I created a rational creature. And Victor concedes here that he's brought something to life that has a will of its own, whose actions he can't predict or control. In the end, the creature turns on Victor and takes from him everything and everyone he holds dear. So when innovators are encouraged to act rashly, without sufficient forethought, move fast and break things, Victor's story should give us pause. Just because we can doesn't mean we should. Let's slow down, reflect, Let's consider the potential impacts of our designs before they take on a life of their own, for better or worse. Victor, I think, would also warn us to be wary of self-isolation. When Victor discovers the source of life, he isolates himself in his lab. He has no contact with professors, friends, even his family members back home. I shunned my fellow creatures as if I had been guilty of a crime, he says. Does Victor work in seclusion because at some level he senses that what he's doing isn't right? You see, for someone like Victor, there can be an advantage to working in secret. If no one knows what he's doing, then no one can hold him accountable or intervene to stop him. Victor's isolation then warns against science and engineering work that's done in secret, that's non-transparent, that leaves the public uninformed, uninvolved, and so vulnerable. Finally, I think Victor would caution us against bias. You see, as Victor sets out to make the creature, there's something, or rather someone, notably absent from the process. A woman. Victor brings the creature to life alone, without a female partner. If successful, he muses, a new species will bless me as its creator and source. Working alone in his lab, Victor has performed a solitary act of technological procreation that effectively removes women from the process. He's sidelined women from participating in scientific inquiry and innovation. For Victor, engineering, it's an all-boys club. Women need not apply. As far as Shelley's novel is concerned, though, that kind of biased exclusion only gives birth to monsters. Learn from me, Victor urges, if not by my precepts, at least by my example. So what can we do? How can we take Victor's warning to heart? Victor acted irresponsibly, but we can practice responsible care. Victor was rash and presumptuous, but we can exercise circumspection and forethought. Victor worked in secret, but we can prioritize transparency and accountability. Victor's work was biased, but ours can be fair and inclusive. Victor was right about one thing, though. As the innovators of tomorrow, all of you have astonishing power placed in your hands. Like Victor told the creature, on you it rests. Will your work enrich our lives and better our world, or bring harm, ruin, and regret? Frankenstein cautions that when technology and ethics fail to align, the result is monstrous. But when they do align, when technology and ethics work together, well, that's a story I look to all of you to write. Thank you.